All right. Hello, everybody, coaches and trainers. I hope today's a great day for you as it is for me here because I'm hosting Divya Parekh with us. And she is a four-time #1 international best-selling author, international speaker, business leadership advisor, and book writing muse who has great influence on leaders, coaches, trainers, and inspired many authors. And she will talk to you today about your avatar. We'll talk to you about the industry and how writing your book will help you make a statement in the market. So Divya, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Dua?
I'm doing great because I'm talking to you today. So
Same here.
Thank you. So we've got a lot of correspondences from our coaches and clients, and they've been having a lot of questions to you, Divya. And basically, what they're asking is they want to know more about your ebooks. They want to know more about how to become more confident in addressing the right people, the right market, and writing the right message. They have a lot of insecurities that you can help them out with here. So would you just weigh in a little bit more about explaining to our coaches and trainers how to get more more in-depth understanding about their clients and avatars?
Great question. So here's the thing, right? If you do not know who your ideal client is, then your message is not going to be direct. So let's take a step back, because in our last webinar, we had talked about how important it is to define your message and how important it is to hone your message. So we had got into a little bit about how you can hone your message. So the reason we need to know about our clients, it's like know your ideal clients. The reason being that is, let's talk about, for me, right? I'm just going to take one of my examples as to initially when I started out in coaching business. I was like, okay, I am a business leadership coach. I coach everyone. And then what happened was, because I was doing that, my message got diluted. And anytime I would speak, anytime I would have my programs, or anytime the way I would show up and I would introduce myself, people would be like, oh, okay, she's a general person. So it's almost like, think about, if you have a heart problem, then you want to go to a cardiologist. You don't want to go to a general physician. So similarly, it's important to know who your client is. Yeah. So for example, let's say if your avatar is somebody who has heart problems, and let's say you are an MD who has turned into a coach consultant, you are a cardiologist, then you are able to speak to them. And that's one example of why do you need to know your ideal client. Then another thing I can give a few more examples is, so for example, your program may be very high end. Let's say you are charging $5,000 for your program. Now, if you do not know who your ideal client is, and if you are creating a message, something that, I'm going to help you out, people get attracted, but you may be attracting wrong clients who may not have money to purchase a program. Now you have spent your efforts, time, money, investment, your energy to nurture wrong clients. Again, about knowing the demographics. So another example could be, okay, my clients are CEOs. So if that's the case, then what you're going to do is you will be joining LinkedIn groups that have CEOs, or you'll be joining LinkedIn groups that belongs to organizations where the professionals at a higher level are coming in who will grow into CEO. So what you're doing is you are building that relationship with your client. And to build that relationship, to build that trust, because trust is the currency of coaching. Trust is the currency of an entrepreneur. So to build that trust, it's important to know your ideal client. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, so it's basically going to them, meeting them at their channel, meeting them where they are.
Yes. Not only that, but before that, you have to know who they are. Because if you don't know who your ideal client is, you cannot go and meet them at proper places. Then you can be. So, for example, if my clients hang out on LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
now if I am going and posting, I'm connecting with people on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, it's not going to do me any good. I'm connecting with wrong people.
Yeah. Yeah. And is like your sign, is that the people who really interact with you, these seem to be, yeah, this is a sure sign that these are your clients. People who, wherever they interact with you, this is a sign that they are your clients, your ideal clients.
Well, in some cases, there may be people who interact with you, but they're not your ideal client. So that's why it's so important. Now, you may be like, okay, Divya, that's so confusing. What do you mean by that? So let's talk about, I'll share a story. So one of my clients, he was a sales rep, and he joined several different LinkedIn groups, and he was putting posts out there. People were interacting. But guess what? These were sales professionals just like him.
Yeah. I can imagine what's going to come next.
Yes, so they are helping each other out because, it's a community. But now, are they his clients? No, because he used to sell procurement software. So these people are not going to buy it from him. So he's hanging out with wrong people.
And they want to sell it too.
Yes. It's important, like who you interaction itself just does not define who your ideal client is. And that's again what we do when we are writing your book. It's like we are creating a business platform. We are overhauling your system, making use of what you already have. So it's not like you have to create new website, you have to create a whole new message, you have to create a whole new logo. No. We take what you already have, and all we do is we sharpen it by the tools that are needed to sharpen your message.
And is that why you've been mentioning a lot about understanding your industry and the need to understand and diversify your industry so that you would, like send the right message to your ideal client? Is that why you've been talking about this concept of the importance of understanding your industry, how it's differentiated, how it's divided, how it's diversified?
Oh yes, Duha, you just get me. It's so amazing. So when we talk about industry landscape, what we mean by that is that one thing that I will definitely point out over here is, do not look at other coaches in your field as your competitors. Look at them as collaboration. Look at them as somebody that you can collaborate with. Look at them as somebody that you can learn from. Look at them as somebody who is out there doing the same thing as you're doing. So my perspective is totally different from usually what is put out there in market, that, oh, check out what your competitors are doing. Check out what do they have, and then come up with a unique message that belongs to you. So one thing I want to share is that, think about it. There's I don't know how many billions of people, probably I think so there are around 7 billion people or more. So when we talk about so many people, the ideas are already out there.
Yeah.
What's not out there is, so for example, we talk about leadership, right? Thought leadership. There's all around.
Yeah, endlessly talk about leadership these days. Endless.
Yes. Endless, like you mentioned. So what is it that differentiates you from others? What is it that in the industry, what's going on? How can you take your message and add positive differentiators? So when I talk about collaboration is, look at what's being put out there. Maybe there are synergies. Okay, before we go to that step, let's take a step back. So for example, all the leadership coaching is going around.
Yeah.
But nobody has your experience. Nobody has your story. Nobody has your perspective. And that's where you take that message and you hone it. So for example, when I mention the giants in the industry, when I mention Brian Tracy, when I mention Marshall Goldsmith, when I mention Jack Welch, Steve Jobs, it does not take away anything from me. So that's the mindset. The first thing is to have that mindset that I can add to what is existing with my fresh perspective And when I know my ideal client, it's going to resonate with them. So that's what I mean by understanding the industry landscape, that what is out there, what experiences are out there. And maybe you may have some of the experiences same, but yet there is something within you that is different from everybody else. And
Yeah.
how can you take that experience and put a fresh perspective? How can you put a positive differentiator out there so you stand out in the crowd?
So it's like it's no other way but collaboration than add your own spice. Because we're in the coaching industry. I don't know about other industries. I mean, it could be different, but with our industry, it has to be collaboration. No other way.
Yes, because, we come from a place of service. And now if you start coming from a different place where your values don't match your message or where your values don't match your business.
Yeah, then you're in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you really get us into the depths of how to hone your message, Divya?
Oh, absolutely. So the first thing is, one of the key things to do is reflect on why did you get into coaching profession in the beginning? Okay. And then why did you continue doing what you're doing for so many years? Or even if you're a beginner, then, it's like bringing that to the forefront. What is your why? Mm-hmm. And you will find usually at the heart of your trade that you genuinely want to serve people and make a difference. Mm-hmm. So the key is that, you want to align your message with your business. The key is that one thing I will share is you cannot be all things to everyone.
Yeah.
When you become a laser beam, your focus is so focused that you can cut through steel. And that's what it is, that when you chip away the noise, when you chip away the distractions, when you chip away all this other paraphernalia that you may have in your business message.
Yeah, cliches.
After identifying your ideal market and understanding the landscape of your industry, now what you've done is you've absorbed your market, you've absorbed your avatar, you know what their pain points are.
Yeah.
You can concentrate your efforts on those you can best help.
Yeah. And go ahead, Divya.
No, go ahead, please.
And it's not just about knowing this for yourself and keeping it. It's also about sharing it. This is who I am. This is how I started. This is why I'm here.
Yes.
Okay.
And so basically, your message has to be positive. Your message has to be an extension of who you are, just like you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Is your message going to stand the test of time? So, for example, when I say the best way to move forward is to move with collaboration. So I am all about collaboration. To me is mobilize your message to make it a movement. And when I say a movement, that means grow together, learn together, and enjoy life together. So when you're building that community, that's what I'm all about. I believe in taking my message and making a difference, but just not to few people. I want to expand my reach. Mm-hmm. So if I put it again, the test of time, do people like to be helped? Do people like to help each other? Yes. So these are the questions to ask as you sharpen your message. You also want to ask, what do you want your coaching business to look like? Mm-hmm. How does your message differentiate you from anybody else that's out there in the industry? Is your message genuine and distinctive? Mm-hmm. Does your message resonate with your customers? That's really important to know. Because if it's not resonating it with them, you could have the best marketing tools, you could have the best videos, you could have the best information, but people are not going to connect with you. And that's the spice.
Yep. So by clarifying exactly what you're doing out there and spreading the real clear message of what you want to do, the message will be clear obviously out there. So people who will come, they will come to your message. And since it's going to be genuine, they will be your ideal clients. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think so one of the best examples to share what we are talking about today, Dua, is that Michelangelo would take a piece of marble and chip it away. He would have this idea, right? He would chip chip away the excess stone, and then
Mm-hmm.
what emerged? David,
Mm-hmm.
the statue of David. It has stood the test of time, and it was one of the most famous statues in Renaissance time, and even to this day, David is one of the most recognized. So that's what you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you have the message within you.
Yeah. And not be distracted by the familiarity around you, by the cliches, by really like resonating with people through your genuine, unique story as a coach.
That's right. Yes.
Awesome. And I mean, this is like very valuable information and insights on how to, you know, think deeply about your message, take it seriously, Divya. And I think our viewers today will think on a deeper level on honing their messages. And what would you like to add in anything else about today's like information and insights on honing your message, identifying your ideal client, or understanding your industry before we wrap up? Because like this is a very, for me, I mean personally, it's a very valuable webinar, and it's got me personally on a deeper level myself as I'm talking to you.
Well, thank you, Doa, for sharing that. What I want to share is that believe in your message. If you have gone into this industry of coaching, trainers, or consultants, you are out there to make a difference. Believe in your message, hone it, and step into your success and help others step into their success.
Yeah, that would be a great like final word for this webinar, Divya. I don't know how I can thank you. This is very precious advice to all of our listeners and me myself. I can't wait to until we meet in our next webinar, and I hope you take us there to where you promised us before, of how we will use more of your precious tools to be able to spread our message since we're on the steps of honing the message, clarifying the message. We can't wait to know more about how to spread the message and become successful authors, best-selling authors. See everybody in our next webinar. Do you have a final word here for everybody, Aditya, before we wrap up?
Well, it will be my pleasure and privilege to share that information, how we can use tools to spread that message. Thank you, Doa, so much.
Thank you very much, Divya. And that's about it for today's webinar. Everybody, if you have any questions, please send us a line to helpdesk@trainersbox.net. Can't wait to get your feedback and information or questions or requests, comments, whatever you'd like to send in. And see you in our next webinar.